Like they're trying to monetize the material that they're putting out, but
Big Meech just sent a strong message, and it's got everyone talking. After standing by Rick Ross, he never expected the tables to turn this fast. But now, Ross is allegedly switching sides, leaving Meech furious. Could this be the biggest betrayal yet? And is 50 Cent behind it all? Stay tuned! Big Meech never expected Rick Ross to turn on him. After all, Ross had publicly supported him, dropping his name in songs, showing love while Meech was locked up, and even promising to help him get back on his feet. But now the streets are buzzing with rumors that Ross has switched sides, aligning himself with 50 Cent instead. At first, it seemed like Ross was Meech's biggest supporter. He hyped up the BMF movement, spoke on Meech's name like they were family, and even talked about making a BMF movie that would rival 50 Cent's TV series. But something changed. The same man who once called Meech a legend is now nowhere to be found when Meech needs him most. Fans are wondering, was Ross ever genuine, or was he just using Meech's name for clout? Some believe Ross was playing both sides all along, waiting to see who would come out on top. Now that Meech's empire is struggling, it looks like Ross has wiped his hands clean and moved on, straight into 50 Cent's circle. But why? Was it business, or was there a deeper reason behind the sudden betrayal? If there's one thing 50 Cent is known for, it's being 10 steps ahead. While everyone else is reacting, he's already making his next move. When Meech turned his back on him, 50 didn't need to retaliate. He just sat back and watched as everything unfolded exactly how he predicted. For years, 50 kept the BMF name alive. He turned it into a successful TV series, kept the story relevant, and even gave Meech's son, Lil Meech, a major role in Hollywood. But when Meech aligned himself with Ross, it sent a clear message. He didn't value what 50 had done. So did 50 pull the strings behind the scenes to make sure Meech's downfall happened faster? Some believe he had connections that ensured Meech's return to the spotlight was short-lived. Others think 50 didn't need to do anything. Meech's own choices led to this. Either way, 50 is now watching from a distance, likely shaking his head, knowing that Ross's betrayal was just the beginning of Meech's problems. The real question is, was this all part of a bigger plan, or was Meech simply outplayed by two men who were always ahead of the game? Big Meech's Welcome Home concert was supposed to be a celebration of his return, a major event bringing together industry legends and the fans who still supported him. Instead, it turned into one of the biggest embarrassments of his career. Just hours before the show was set to start, the arena pulled the plug, canceling the event with no explanation. Refunds were issued, artists started backing out, and suddenly, what was meant to be a legendary night became a nightmare. Some say it was just bad planning, others believe something bigger was at play. Rumors quickly spread that 50 Cent had a hand in shutting it down. After all, he had been saying for weeks that the concert would never happen. Was he just speaking facts, or did he make sure it became reality? Even more shocking, where was Rick Ross in all of this? The same man who hyped up the event, promising it would be huge, suddenly went silent when it fell apart. Did Ross know it was doomed from the start, or did he back out when things got messy? Either way, this concert marked a major turning point. Meech was no longer the boss he once was. Lil Meech was supposed to carry on his father's legacy, but now he's stuck in the middle of an ugly feud that could cost him everything. On one side, he has 50 Cent, the man who gave him a career in acting, put him in the BMF show, and mentored him. On the other, he has his father, who expects full loyalty, no questions asked. Recently, leaked messages between Lil Meech and 50 Cent exposed just how much pressure he's under. He tried to defend his father while also pleading for 50's understanding, saying he would give the shirt off his back for him. But 50 wasn't convinced. Even worse, Lil Meech admitted in the texts that Rick Ross had been financially helping Big Meech pay his bills. This raises even more questions. Was Meech relying on Ross all along? And if so, does that mean Ross had more power in this situation than anyone realized? For Lil Meech, this isn't just about loyalty, it's about survival. He now has to choose between standing by his father or protecting his own future in Hollywood. But whichever choice he makes, someone is going to feel betrayed. Rick Ross has always presented himself as a businessman first. He knows how to move strategically, and he's not afraid to switch sides when it benefits him. But was his loyalty to Big Meech ever real, or was he just using him as a pawn? For years, Ross claimed he wanted to bring the BMF story to the big screen. He even hinted at making a movie that would outshine 50 Cent's series. But now that things are crumbling, where is that energy? Why hasn't he followed through? Some believe Ross saw the writing on the wall and decided to distance himself before things got worse. Others think he was never truly invested in Meech's success. He just wanted to use his name for credibility. Now, with 50 Cent thriving and Meech struggling, Ross seems to be making moves that benefit only himself. Whether or not he intentionally set up Meech, one thing is clear: he's no longer standing by him. And that speaks volumes about where his true loyalty lies. Big Meech was once one of the most respected names in the streets. But now, many believe he made a fatal mistake, trusting the wrong people. When he turned his back on 50 Cent, he thought he was making a power move. Instead, it put him in a vulnerable position, allowing Ross to allegedly manipulate the situation for his own gain. What makes this even worse is that Meech may have underestimated 50's ability to control the narrative. While Meech was focused on making a comeback, 50 was making sure that comeback never happened. In the end, the man who once ran the streets is now left with nothing. No successful concert, no Hollywood backing, and no strong alliances. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is still thriving and Rick Ross has seemingly moved on without a second thought. So was this all just bad luck? Or did Meech walk straight into a trap of his own making? With everything that has happened, fans are starting to question whether the BMF legacy can survive this drama. Without 50 Cent's support, the brand is already losing momentum. Lil Meech's Hollywood career is now uncertain, and Big Meech himself is struggling to regain the influence he once had. Some say this is just a setback, but others believe it's the beginning of the end. If BMF is going to survive, it needs a strong leader, someone who can navigate the industry and rebuild the brand. But right now, that leader isn't Big Meech, and it definitely isn't Rick Ross. So where does that leave the future of BMF? At the end of the day, this situation is more than just another hip-hop feud. It's a lesson in power, loyalty, and survival. Big Meech was once a dominant force, feared and respected, but the game has changed. The industry isn't the same as the streets, and navigating power struggles in this new era requires strategy, patience, and strong alliances. Unfortunately for Meech, the people he thought were on his side may have never been truly loyal to him in the first place. Rick Ross, despite his years of shouting out BMF in songs and interviews, has now distanced himself from the controversy. Some believe Ross never intended to genuinely help Meech. He only wanted to leverage the BMF name for his own benefit. Now that Meech's brand is facing serious challenges, Ross seems to have quietly stepped back, making it clear that his loyalty was never unconditional. But was this just business, or was it a calculated betrayal? And then there's 50 Cent, the man who has always played chess while everyone else plays checkers. Some say he didn't have to do much to win this battle because Meech's downfall was inevitable. But let's not forget, 50 has been known to pull strings behind the scenes. Did he have a direct hand in ensuring Meech's comeback efforts failed? Or did he just predict how things would fall apart and let it happen naturally? So who really won this battle? Some say 50 Cent outplayed them all. Others believe Big Meech will eventually bounce back. But one thing is certain, this isn't over yet. What do you think? Did Big Meech make a mistake trusting the wrong people? Or is there more to this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.